Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Dylan Knows, episode 553, the mother of all Auroras. If you've been following what's going on this week, you'll know why I called the episode this, but this is Saturday, May 11th, and it's 11:15 p.m. here in Reisterstown, Maryland. It is currently 51 degrees with rain expected within the next 10 minutes. This is not the Auroras. This is the storm coming our way. So we're going to get some rain here in a second. And we're also on the precipice of Mother's Day, the first of two Parents' Days coming up in the next 2 months. It was apparently neighborhood yard sale day today. Multiple neighborhood yard sales going on. Today was also the Blooming Arts Fest at Reisterstown. One of our usual events we usually do was also this weekend. And Wednesday I had my operation to remove my kidney stone, so I've been incapacitated the last 3 days. I did a conversation with myself episode detailing my whole kidney stone journey, so I am feeling better, though I do feel a little twinge in the tip periodically. I think that might just be the healing aspect of it, and I do have a little bit of a cramp in the side here, and my back's been hurting, but I think that's all unrelated to it. I haven't felt like shaving, that's why I've got sort of this beard thing going on, but that'll be gone tomorrow. I'm going to shave for Mother's Day. Going to my in-laws' house. We were going to see my mom, but because of my kidney stones, because of Blooming Arts Fest, my wife and kids had to work it. And we're going to set up a time. Plus, it was crappy weather here in Reisterstown. Started off nice, and then it turned crappy. We're going to do a Memorial Day thing in a couple weeks, so that'll be nice. And so it's been a long 5 days, actually, since I've been incapacitated. I don't think I've watched the new Doctor Who Christmas special. That's really the only new thing I kind of watched while I was out. I just sort of did a lot of Fortnite and reading and resting up and stuff like that. But I talked about this in detail. That's all a conversation with myself, so I'm not going to go into detail here. Needless to say, I do not have the kidney stone where they literally removed it from me, so that's good. But we have a lot of stuff going on this past week. The mother of our auroras is there was a massive solar storm that has been smashing the earth for the last 2 days and is supposed to do it again tomorrow, which has created auroras that can be seen as far south as Florida. I had a friend from high school, Amy Jordan. She's Amy Jordan's her name. Amy Dixon was her name in high school. But she took pictures and posted them from Florida, and they were gorgeous views of the auroras. So, of course, here in Reisterstown, we had clouds and rain, so could not see the aurora. So I was like, okay, we had a pretty clear, mostly clear day, but the clouds have rolled in and out here. We've had a few periods of rain today. We'll be able to see them tonight. And as I just showed you, we've got a big rainstorm heading our way in the next hour or so. So that'll be hitting us soon. Maybe that clears out, maybe. But right now, we're not going to be able to see any auroras if there are any. But lots of happened. Literally about an hour before I came on here, got the big news that Roger Corman passed away. Film people know who Roger Corman is. Most people should know who Roger Corman is. He is the king of B movies. He is the guy that's been working since the 50s in movies. He's known for doing things quickly, cheaply. He basically has instilled in his people to work 24/7 on these films to get them done and use very little money to get these movies done. But he was the entranceway for a ton of big stars. Now he discovered Jack Nicholson, gave Ron Howard his first directing job, gave James Cameron his first directing job. And there are so many more other things. Let me see if I can dig up some more stuff about Roger Corman here. He is a legend. That's right. He is a legend. And while I'm doing that, I also had my bank card was compromised last weekend, so I had to get a new one, and I finally got it today, which made me ecstatic. But I'd been working without one for a while, which was hard because I had a lot of stuff that gets automatic payments from it. So I have to go back in and redo those payments, stuff like that. So it's a big pain in the ass. But I got it, so I'm all set on that end. I will be able to go back to work on Monday without any problems. Yep. He's known a lot for the vampire movies. Little Shop of Horrors, he did that one. Movies like in the 50s and the 50s, like Rock All Night, Teenage Doll, War of the Satellites, Machine Gun Kelly, Teenage Caveman, Bucket of Blood, Wasp Woman, Ski Troop Attack, House of Usher, Little Shop of Horrors, Pit and the Pendulum, did a bunch of the Edgar Allan Poe movies, The Raven, The Terror, The Haunted Place, X, The Man with the X-Ray Eyes, The Mask of the Red Death, The Wild Angels, St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Those are all the ones he directed and produced a whole ton more. Rock and Roll High School, Suburbia, Slumber Party Massacre. I think he did he did a Fantastic Four from Carnosaur, Dino Croc, Super Gator, Attack of the 50-Foot Cheerleader, Death Race 2050, stuff like that. So he's done a ton of stuff. It's just, he is a legend in film history. He was also 98 years old, but it's a sad day for film fans. Roger Corman has passed away today as well. Yeah, so I got my credit card compromised. I got that taken care of. Mother's Day is tomorrow. Kidney stones taken care of. All that's done. The Auroras, already talked about that. Just before we do that here, brand new brisk iced tea, Blackberry Smash. I had the blood orange one. I saw this one today. I want to see what this one's going to taste like. Pretty good. So I got some good stuff here going on. So we got the first look at Superman, the new actor playing Superman, and James Gunn's Superman. And I got to tell you, I was underwhelmed by it. The costume doesn't look right to me. The poster had him sitting on his bed, slowly putting on his boots, looking dejected a little bit, while outside his window you see a terror, something that's attacking the city. First of all, Superman would not take his time putting on his boots like that, and he wouldn't look dejected either, unless that's what James Gunn is going for. He's going for something where Superman has been doing this for so long that he's starting to get burned out a little bit, and so he's not as good as he used to be, and something's going to change him to get him back to normal. That's what I'm thinking they're aiming for, but I was not impressed by it. It's better than Zack Snyder's stuff, because Zack Snyder is a hack piece of shit, ass face, white shithead motherfucker. But it just was just sort of meh, So just not great. The first look at Amazon's new Batman cartoon, Cape Crusader, from Bruce Timm, set in the 1940s, is much more mature, because Bruce Timm has always been trying to make things more mature for stuff like that. So we got our first look at what Batman looks like, and Bruce Wayne, and Catwoman, and Selena Kyle, and Harley Quinn, and it's due out August 1st from Amazon. It looks pretty interesting, so I might check it out since it is going to be on Amazon. And it's got Bruce Timm, J.J. Abrams, and then the guy who did the Matt Reeves did the most recent Batman. They're all involved with it. So we'll see what happens with that. Is Shogun getting a season 2? which is interesting. So FX's Shogun has been lauded as one of the best limited series on television in decades, and a brilliant adaptation of James Clavell's novel. And it was hugely popular. So, of course, FX is like, we need a season 2. But the problem is James Clavell never wrote a sequel. And I don't know if there's even room for a sequel, or is there anything for a sequel. But the main Japanese actor who was the lead has signed on for a second season. So I have no idea what they're going to be doing, because there is no second Shogun book. So I have no idea what they're going to be doing with that. So are they going to expand James Clavell's world? Do they have the rights to do that? I don't know. Not everything needs a sequel. I know, or a second season or whatever. I know it did really well for you, but you don't need to have a one and done is fine. You can do that, but whatever. Brian Fuller has left another show. Seems like he does this all the time. Everyone gets excited for him because of his history, and then all of a sudden he leaves the show either before it airs or during the season. He did it with Heroes. He did it with Hannibal. Okay. Don't know what that was. I fully charged up, so I don't know what those beeps were. So, okay, interesting. Maybe that was part of the solar storm hitting us. So I have no idea what's actually going through him. But and then when they announced that he was going to be working on a Friday the 13th Jason Voorhees show called Crystal Lake for A24 and Peacock, I thought, okay, that'd be kind of cool. Well, he left the project, and A24 is now retooling it. So it's the same old story with Brian Fuller. I mean, the best analogy I have is something my boss says at work is like, you can be the best worker in the world, but if you don't show up, you're not helping anybody. So you could be the best writer, TV showrunner, whatever, but if you keep leaving the shows for whatever reason, you're not helping anybody. So Wednesday season 2 has officially started production in Ireland, and they announced the new cast members and some guest stars: Haley Joel Osment, Christopher Lloyd, the original Fester Adams. Oh, not the original Fester Adams from the movie from the 1990s. Billy Piper, Joanna Lumley, Steve Buscemi, Thandie Newton, and Heather Matarazzo have all joined the cast for season 2 of Wednesday. That's intriguing. Tim Burton is going to be directing a couple more episodes of that as well. Not all of them, but a couple of them again. So it is currently, the entire Addams family is coming back. I think they said Joanna Lumley is going to be playing Grandma. So that's interesting, Grandmama. So that actually kind of fits pretty good. So good on that as well. Some other big news that came out this week was the Chicago Critics Film Fest had a screening of A Violent Nature, which is the intriguing, gory horror film from the viewpoint of the killer. And I was talking about this a couple weeks ago. I think I talked about it in my summer movie preview. Movie comes out in theaters at the end of this month. And it's an intriguing idea that I don't think has ever been done in horror movies before. And so they started screening it to get critics' views at it. And apparently at this viewing in Chicago, someone actually vomited due to the gore from the movie. So can't get better marketing than that. So it's going to be a gory horror film. So should be interesting about that. Some other big news that came out of this week. Peter Jackson will be writing, and Andy Serkis will be directing and starring in a new Lord of the Rings movie called The Hunt for Gollum, which is due to come out in 2026. So when they announced that they were going to be doing more Lord of the Rings movies, we thought someone was going to come in and remake the originals again. And that just sounded like a really bad idea. But then they announced this with Peter Jackson writing, Andy Serkis directing and starring in The Search for Gollum. And I don't know or the Hunt for Gollum. I don't know what that means. Are they utilizing stuff from J.R. Tolkien's works, or is this just a fan fiction sort of thing that they're doing to just, try to keep, like they kind of did a little bit with The Hobbit, expanding it into 3 movies instead of just 1, which it could have been easily, or maybe 2 at the most. Is there other Gollum works you could use from, or are you just some of the stuff? Are you just creating the stuff like Shogun? Are you just creating it on your own? So is that going to be the new trend now, where you're running out of the stuff, but you want to keep making product of it, so you create your own stories? I guess so. I mean, I guess it's working for the Ring of Power, which isn't really. I guess they're taking some of the stuff from the history of Lord of the Rings, but they're writing a bunch of it on their own. So I wonder if that's sort of similar, but that's, it's coming out in 2026. So we'll see what happens with that. Intriguing, I guess. Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves are hinting that they would like to team up again for Speed 3, which could be kind of interesting to see how they would be now after he wasn't in Speed 2 and it became sort of disaster. It'd be kind of neat to see where things are at this point. Vanessa Kirby, Anna de Armas, and Sydney Sweeney are all set to star in Ron Howard's new movie Eden. So that's an interesting cast of female actresses, but I was taking a look at some of the works from it, and they're just very, very plain, and so they're not showing off their sexuality, which is interesting. Cobra Kai is coming back in 3 parts. The first part's coming out July 18th. The second part's coming out November 28th. The third part's coming out in 2025. 15 episodes. I'm assuming 5 episodes each. So there we go. Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones is set to lead the prime thriller Haven. So that'll be, I don't know if that's a movie or TV show, but she's coming back to work as well. Sci-Fi Orders TV series based on the Image comic Revival, written by Tim Seeley with art by Mike Norton. It ran from like 2010 to 2018, something like that. The premise of it is a town of Wisconsin. One day, in a small town of Wisconsin, everybody who was dead comes back to life, but not in zombie form. They come back as if they, like, basically in the Avengers movies, they came back like from the snap, like they came back from dead that way, like nothing happened. So that could be intriguing to see where they go with that. Frank Grillo is set to appear in season 2 of Peacemaker as Rick Flag Sr., a role that he will be introduced in with Creature Commandos, the animated film, which is going to be the first of the new James Gunn DC stuff coming out. Peacemaker 2 is currently filming right now. So the animated version of Rick Flag Sr. will be making his live-action version done by the voice of Rick Flag Sr., Frank Grillo. A new farming sim is coming in 2025, which is inspired by Studio Ghibli, which might be something that I would enjoy, because if it's done in Studio Ghibli sort of artwork, and they have that whole big farming thing they got going on in the backgrounds of a lot of his movies, could become a very interesting video game. It's like a Stardew Valley sort of thing. So that's pretty cool. Jason and Kylie Kelsey have welcomed their first boy. It's their 4th child. Kylie had it early last week, and it's their first boy. So they have 3 girls and a boy. So now that's good. Congratulations to them. Is Starbucks in a rut? The CEO of Starbucks believes it is. It is no longer as interesting or intriguing or a must go to anymore. It's there, and you have your people who go to it, but the CEO claims that it's not like relevant really anymore. It's just another thing. Oh, we're going to go to Starbucks. They're not really, it's not exciting to go to Starbucks anymore. So I guess he's going to try to figure out how to make it more exciting. I don't know, probably raise prices as usual. A bunch of anniversaries. The Mummy, the Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz movie came out 25 years ago this week. Considered to be truly one of the best adventure movies of all time. You have to agree with that as well. Came out in the lovely summer of 1999. 1999 was one of the best years for film. I'm rereading the book about the films that came out then. The Crow came out 30 years ago, the original one with Brendan Lee. Directed by Alex Proyas, the original and the best one. Ernie Hudson is in it as well. And it's a really good movie. I like it. It's out on 4K right now, so I might end up picking that up as well. Twister came out 28 years ago this week. The original one, which set the new bar for new movie projections. So Twister came out 28 years ago this week. And 28 weeks later, came out in 2007. So that's 2007, 17 years ago. Yep, 17 years ago. So, the new 28 years later is set to start filming later this year. That's everything on this page. Next up. Jeremy Strong is in talks to play Bruce Springsteen's manager, John Landau, in the new biopic that is currently in pre-production right now, with starring the guy from The Bear. Sydney Sweeney is also set to play in a biopic, play a boxer by the name of Christy Martin. And she's really excited about the role to get a chance to get bulked up and learn how to do that. So she's a incredibly sexy woman, and she'll be playing sort of this frumpy, strong sort of boxer. And it's good for her acting, so congratulations to her. Michelle Yeoh is set to star in the Blade Runner 2099 show. Is coming to Prime, so that just makes that a show even better now, because Michelle Yeoh is one of the best actresses out there right now. So about The Bear season 3 is set to debut on June 27th. The Twisters, new trailer for Twisters, the sequel to Twister, which I just talked about, came out, and honestly, I'm not excited about it. It's got Glenn Powell from Anyone But You, but other than that, it's the type of film you see it once, and you see Twister once, and it's like you really can't make a sequel to it. There's really not much you can do about it. Not really on my want to watch set. I'll probably get it. I'll check it out when it's on Blu-ray or streaming, but it's not going to be what I'm going to seek out to look at, just because it just doesn't look enticing. I just talked about Jason and Kylie Kelce. Travis Kelce is going to stretch out his acting ability. Hopefully he's going to be acting like a douchebag, like it's his normal self, because he'll be in Ryan Murphy's new horror series from FX called Grotesquerie. So no idea what that's about or what he's going to be doing in it. So I hope he's got to film it soon, because football season coming up and his dumbass got to get back out on the field. And he's visiting Taylor in Paris right now. We'll talk about Taylor later on, though. The Bookie and the Bruiser, Vince Vaughn and Adrian Brody, are set to star in S. Craig Zeller's new film. Yippee. David Lynch has more ideas for Twin Peaks. That's always a plus, so hopefully someone will give him the benefit of the doubt to do it. Clark Gregg is set to join Criminal Minds Evolution Season 2, which is set to be due out real soon here. Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie are set to reteam for another reality show again. Yay. Major film studios are not interested in Francis Ford Coppola's epic Megalopolis, so it's getting screened, and none of the distributors are interested in distributing it, so it'll probably end up going through like an Apple TV Plus or a Netflix or something like that, Paramount Plus, something like that, and maybe get a debut for like Killers of the Flower Moon. It seems more like an Apple TV Plus movie. And more than likely, that's probably where it's going to end up. And they'll probably put in the movie theater like Killers of the Flower Moon and then never release it on Blu-ray. So we'll see. The NFL is set to set their schedule on Wednesday, which is great. We'll finally see what's going on with our teams this year. So Wednesday, 8 p.m., the NFL schedule will drop. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover with Masters of the Universe in Dark Horse Comics limited series Turtles of Grayskull is set to debut September 25th at comic book stores. It's a 4-issue miniseries. The WNBA is coming to Toronto in expansion. Due out, the new expansion team is set to start playing in 2026. Pringles Minecraft Spicy TNT is now out in theaters, or not theaters, in grocery stores right now. Doritos Twisted Lime, I saw those today. I almost bought them but didn't. Are also out in grocery stores right now. Fruity Cheerios are also out in grocery stores right now. Dolly Parton is teaming up with Krispy Kreme to release the Southern Sweet Donut Collection, due out on May 14th, which is Tuesday. So go ahead and check that out if you have a Krispy Kreme near you. I'm excited for this because I'm going to try both of these. Sunny D, which I like already, their strange orange juice sort of concoction, has 2 new drinks coming out just in time for summer. Sunny D's Rainbow Sherbet flavored drink and Rocket Pop flavored drink are due out this summer. Those sound intriguing. They sound exciting, and they sound like something that I'm going to pick up and drink here. And hopefully we'll get them near where I am. So that'll be fun. Ted gets a 2nd season renewal. Yay. Seth MacFarlane's teddy bear. Yay. Firebrand trailer. Alicia Vikander and Jude Law due out June 14th. I don't know if I talked about this too much during my summer movie preview, but maybe I should have. Firebrand is based on a true story. It is Catherine Parr, who was one of Henry VIII's wives, and it's going to detail her story. So that made it a little more intriguing because my daughter sort of likes the Henry VIII history sort of stuff, so she might be interested in seeing that. So we'll see. Japanese town is building a giant screen to prevent tourists from photographing Mount Fuji. I guess it's a town literally right at the foot of Mount Fuji, and I guess they're tired of tourists just coming and taking pictures of Mount Fuji, or maybe they think it's still at Seoul or something. I don't know. They are building a giant screen that will not allow anyone to take pictures of Mount Fuji from their town. So that should be kind of interesting to see if they can do that. A China Zoo's panda exhibit features dogs dyed black and white. Don't have any real pandas in it. Have dogs dressed in black and white. That's interesting. A great white shark was spotted off the Alabama coast this week as well. So they're out and about now. This actually looks really, really cool. A Russian film company has done their own version of The Wizard of Oz, and they released a trailer this week. I didn't see when and if it's coming out, but it looks really, really good, actually. It seems more of an updated version of Wizard of Oz. Doesn't look like it's going to be a musical, but it is called The Wizard of Emerald City, and it looks really, really cool. Check it out for yourself. I don't know if you can find it under The Wizard of Oz, The Wizard of Emerald City trailer. You might be able to find it like that. Let me see if I can find that in the search engine for YouTube. I saw it on a reel on YouTube, and they had it under its Russian name. So let's see. The Wizard of Emerald City. Yeah, you can. Yeah, so you do. Yeah, you can get it that way. So you just type in The Wizard of Emerald City, and you should be able. Let me just check it out. You find the right time to book. Let's make sure this is the same one I'm thinking about. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. There it is. Okay. It's the Wizard of the Emerald City teaser trailer 2025. Yeah, that looks really, really good. So it's not due out till 2025. But yeah, that looks really, really good though. So definitely check that out. The Tin Man looks cool. The Munchkins look cool, and she's like in a camper instead of a house, and the camper lands in the top of the mountains, and you're looking down the mountains, and you see the yellow brick road just going all the way out there, and then you see the towns where the Munchkins live. You get to see the Munchkins. It's so cool looking. 2025 is when that's due out, so I'll keep an eye out for that, and hopefully it'll be playing in American theaters as well, and I definitely want to check that out. John Malkovich has joined the Fantastic Four in a mysterious role, and Game of Thrones' Ralph Ineson is set to play Galactus in Fantastic Four. So we've been getting a lot of Fantastic Four casting, which means they're getting really, really close to start filming this since this is due out in 2026. So where's it 2025? It's July 20. I think it might be July 2025. They got to start filming that shit like now. So we'll be seeing that probably really soon. Taylor Swift has restarted her Eras tour. Is now going through Europe right now. And his first stop was in Paris. The first show was either last night or Thursday night. And she's already showing how great she is at this. She has changed the whole Eras concert around from what you saw previously. She has added a section from her new album, The Tortured Poet Society. So there's at least 4 or 5 songs from her new album, which means new dance choreography, new costuming. She did have to cut out a couple other songs from the various eras and mix up the way of how the set is going to be playing out. But you're getting her new stuff in concert. And that's exciting. And she's rebranding some of the songs she's already done. So she's getting new costumes, new dance moves for songs she's been doing since she started the Eras tour. So it's a way to keep it fresh and interesting. Travis is apparently on his way over there now, or is over there now. Is going to spend some time with her over there. So good on that. But congratulations, Taylor, doing a great job. Some big news coming this summer. Once I had to get my credit card fixed, so I have to go in and change all the stuff that gets money taken out directly from my credit card. And one of those is Disney Plus. Disney Plus announced a new bundle coming this summer, which I might be intrigued enough now to might consider adding. Now, the new bundle that you'll be getting this summer from Disney Plus will be Disney Plus and Hulu and Max. Yes, the HBO Warner Brothers Max is now going to join forces with Disney Plus and Hulu to create a new bundle. And that could be really good due out this summer. So I'll keep an eye on pricing and stuff like that. I might end up go ahead and get those. So we'll see, because we should be seeing some interesting stuff coming from the WB here soon. So we shall see. Come on. Sorry. Another big death this week. Steve Albini, musician, the lead man for The Wedding Present, passed away this week. And Sean Burroughs, a Major League Baseball player and an Olympic champion, died at the age of 43. Must have played in the Olympics for baseball. Died at the age of 43 this week. Anniversaries, we have the Chris Pine rebooted Star Trek with J.J. Abrams, came out 15 years ago this week. And Friday the 13th, the original movie, came out 44 years ago this week. And the last episode of Quantum Leap aired 31 years ago this week. Ooh, we have another fast episode. We're 33 minutes in. I'm only a page and a half left. So I don't know if you guys remember, probably about 2 years ago, I was asked to audition for a secret show that was going to be filming in Baltimore during the summer of 2022. And I was asked to audition for it, so I did, and I sent in my audition thing and never heard from them again, so obviously I didn't get the role. And then I discovered it was going to be a adaptation of a novel by a local author, and it was going to star Natalie Portman and Lupita Nyong'o, but Lupita had to leave, and Moses Ingram was joined in there. And it was based on kind of a true story that happened in Baltimore, filmed in Baltimore. And then I saw pictures from it. There were some stories like some people tried to fleece money from the company and stuff like that, tried to steal their stuff. So there's some issues when they were filming it. And then didn't hear a damn thing from them. And a year went by. I was like, I wonder what happened to it. And then this year, we're only halfway through the year, and still no news about it until this week. The Lady of the Lake is set to hit Apple TV Plus on July 19th. So we will finally get to see that. So those who have Apple Plus TV, you'll be able to see that TV series coming up on July 19th. Handling the Undead is a Norwegian zombie film unlike any other one. Trailer was released this week. I was not able to find it, so I don't know what's different about it than usual ones, so that's interesting. The new Office show is officially been picked up by Peacock, so we'll get new characters, but we're going to do like a kind of a reboot or remake of The Office, but with new characters. A thrift store bust for $34.99 turns out to be an ancient relic. It's always interesting when that sort of stuff pops up and happens. Robert Downey Jr. is set to make his Broadway debut in a play called McNeil, due out this fall, I believe. So he will be making his Broadway debut. Has never done Broadway in his career till now, so that's kind of interesting to see that. Godzilla X Kong New Empire, which is a great Godzilla movie, by the way, is set to come out on 4K Blu-ray, or regular Blu-ray even, on June 11th. So not that far from now, so that's pretty good. And Ghostbusters Frozen Empire just came out on digital. So both of those came out in March, so it's about 2 months later. So it would more than likely you're going to see Ghostbusters Frozen Empire pop up probably sometime this summer soon, real quick. There's a place card in Amazon right now for it, but no date yet because they haven't announced the date yet. Snowpiercer is set to debut its final season on AMC this summer. Willem Dafoe and Sandra Hewlin are set to star in Late Fame, a new movie out there. Despicable Me 4 trailer, the new one of that came out this week as well. Bob Iger, asshole douchebag, guy who's running Marvel right now, or Disney right now, says the MCU is going to be limited to 3 movies and 2 TV shows a year. So fuck you, Bob Iger, whatever. Riddick Furia, the 4th Riddick movie, is starting production right now with Vin Diesel returning as a character. Last week, for May the 4th, Star Wars Phantom Menace was re-released in theaters for its 25th anniversary. And you remember 25 years ago how big of a joke the movie was with critics and fans. Well, after 25 years, it seems to have gotten a little bit of respect. It was number 2 at the box office this week. A re-release of a film that came out 25 years ago this week came in second in last week's box office numbers. So that's kind of interesting. Lego Star Wars is Disney Plus is involved with this. Lego Star Wars has made a bunch of little animated films, stuff like that. Their newest one actually looks really, really cool. We got a new trailer from Disney Plus set to debut September 13th called Rebuilding the Galaxy, where something happens and it looks like the entire Star Wars galaxy gets redone in sort of a multiversal thing, and you're finally going to get Darth Jar Jar. But it looks really, really good, showing different characters that, like a Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, are completely different now because of all this stuff, multiversal stuff. It looks interesting. Looks like a lot of fun. First trailer for it came out this week, and it's due out on September 13th. Significant tornado outbreak hit last week as well. Much like how this weekend we had the massive sunstorms, we had the massive tornadoes earlier in the week. Let's see, we're not even at midnight yet, so let's see how this rain is. It getting closer? Well, it says heavy rain forecasted, but it looks like it's on top of us now. But I'm not hearing or seeing anything, so we shall see. A Terminator video game is coming, so that's kind of interesting. So we got to hear a little bit about that. Star Wars Skeleton Crew is set to hit in the last half of 2024. We kind of knew that, so we're kind of good. It's kind of good to see that as well. Fruit Loops is releasing Rainbow Sherbet Scoops for this summer, and Fruity Pebbles is releasing Fruity Pebble waffle flavor cereal. So we got all that coming up here too. Drought-stricken California reservoir fills up for the first time in 26 years, since 1998. So that's a good sign. A drought-stricken reservoir is now full up with water again. A mysterious creature slays 17 farm animals on a Mexican farm. People speaking about the chupacabra, but the blood wasn't sucked out this time. This creature, these animals were just decimated, so nobody knows what creature did it. So we'll see what happens. Maybe it was Bigfoot in the Auroras doing it. So I don't know. Well, I'm just blowing through this episode. Two Boeing whistleblowers have mysteriously died trying to blow the whistle on how bad Boeing's airplanes actually are. And an emergency slide fell off of a Boeing airplane and landed in the backyard of a lawyer who's suing Boeing. Can you be any more obvious that you're trying to wipe out people, Boeing? It's not a good sign there, son. And it's not going to be, but needs to be investigated because that's just not right. I was going to try to hold this off to the last story of the episode of the show, but I've got about a half a page left of stuff to do. So we'll hit this one right now. This is a weird ass story. A 32-year-old millionaire Massachusetts woman, so she's a Massachusetts woman, 32 years old, millionaire, decided for some godforsaken reason, no idea why, to enroll in high school as a 13-year-old. So she went to high school, enrolled into high school, went to high school, played women's basketball, pretending to be a 13-year-old girl when she's actually just about 20 years older. No idea why. She bored, wanted to see if she could get away with it to do it. She had a bad high school experience, or she had a non-high school experience, because if she's a millionaire, she might have come from a millionaire family. So schools might have just been kind of blasé anyway, and she wants to go back and experience it. And you think you look like a 13-year-old girl. You're 20 years older, so you're going to have big breasts and big hips. You're going to be a lot more sexual, I would guess, more experienced in that end. Are you hunting for 13, 14, 15-year-old boys to fuck around with? Or you're just doing it just for shits and giggles? No idea, but that's just kind of weird. It's kind of weird, man. Kind of weird. I mean, I guess if she can get away with it, but still, it's still weird, man. Some more deaths this week. We have Jenny Epper, stunt woman for Linda Carter on Wonder Woman, passed away this week. Susan Buckner was played, I forget the character's name, but played the good girl on Grease, the one with the blonde hair that was full of school spirit and was the good girl. And everyone made fun of her and stuff like that. Joe Collier, Broncos defensive coordinator from 1969 to 1988, passed away this week. And Ian Gelder, who played Kevon Lannister on Game of Thrones, passed away this week as well. Anniversary, 16 Candles. John Hughes' introduction to direction came out 40 years ago this week. Van Helsing came out 20 years ago this week. That's the Hugh Jackman film directed by Stephen Sommers, who directed the Mummy movie. That came out 20 years ago this week. The Fifth Element with Bruce Willis and Mila Jovovich and Gary Oldman came out 27 years ago this week. Now we go through a stretch of Marvel movies because this is the time when Marvel would always release their movies. Iron Man 2 debuted 14 years ago this week. The original Thor debuted 13 years ago this week. And Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3 debuted 1 year ago this week. The Friends final episode debuted 20 years ago this week. And I should say debuted, but also the end of Friends came 20 years ago this week. And the HBO hugely popular limited series Chernobyl came out 5 years ago this week. It's been 5 years since Chernobyl. Damn. This is weird, man. I might get under an hour in this episode. I guess because due to the fact that I was ill most of the time, I didn't really do much. Not ill, I was recovering from my surgery. I didn't really do much online, or there just wasn't a lot going on this week for various reasons. But right now, I feel okay, but I have this little twinge now that's bothering me a little bit. It's more annoying. It's not like as bad as it was, but it's annoying me right now. My back has really been hurt lately, but I think that's due to the fact that we need new furniture to take care of that. All right. This is a massive rumor, and I've been hearing this rumor for years, and it is wish fulfillment. People want this to happen so much. And then all of a sudden, 4 or 5 websites who are not related, but could be. That's why I don't really trust too much. Have all been announcing this. None of the big ones do. None of the good ones like a Joe Blow or Disney themselves have not made the announcement yet. They made an announcement that Chris Evans potentially could come back as to portray Captain America again. Disney actually was not the one to make that announcement, but some of the higher end websites that you do follow that are pretty good about that stuff, they did announce that that's a possibility. Everyone believes that would be for Secret Wars. But now this story just blew through this week. Again, I really don't believe this at all. It's a huge rumor. It's wish fulfillment. It would be way expensive to do it anyway. So I honestly don't see this happening. But it just has to be put out there that this is the biggest rumor of the week. And so you might see this pop up. Take it with a grain of salt right now, but I am going to mention it on the show just because I want you to be aware that this could be a potential idea. I do not believe it is. So take this with a grain of salt, but it's been talked about for years now. Supposedly, the actual project that Chris Evans is signed on for to reprise his role of Captain America is not Secret Wars, but a limited series on Disney Plus about him returning the stones. Now, that was a story that people have been dying to see. and have been wanting to see forever, and see what would happen, and how he would do it, because there's a lot of stuff that is going to entail. That's why I don't believe it's going to happen, because there's just a lot of stuff he's got to do, and I don't know how he's going to do it or get himself to these. It doesn't make any sense. But it's wish fulfillment. That's what everybody wants to do. But there are like 4 or 5 websites all announced it this week, though they are all these smaller, crappy ones, which I don't truly believe in anyway. And I do not believe, and there was no word from Chris Evans nor Disney Plus that this is actual thing. But that is the rumor that has been just out there this whole week. So take it with a grain of salt. I just brought to bring it up because you might see it on your feed. So we'll see. Sigourney Weaver. This is actually a true rumor. So this is actually really going to happen. Sigourney Weaver is in talks to join Mandalorian and Grogu. So that'd be interesting to get Sigourney Weaver into a Star Wars movie. So finally, that would be a great idea. So that'd be cool to see that. That 90s show. Didn't know much of what was going on with that, but apparently the first season was divided into 3 parts also. The first part we already saw. A new trailer debuted earlier this evening, which showed the next batch of episodes coming out and gave us dates. Part 2 of that 90s show is set to debut June 27th, and part 3 is set to debut October 24th. So we got a new trailer. In the new trailer, you saw the return of Seth Green's character from what he played in the 70s show. Tommy Chong is in it also. And Donna's father, who we haven't seen for a while, is actually making a reappearance in the show as well. And then there are a whole bunch of new characters that they're introducing, and then we're going to see the kids as well. Donna's the only one right now that appears to be one of the original cast members to be back. Doesn't look like besides Kitty and Red, but it doesn't look like Topher is coming back for this season because he was not in this trailer. Neither were Kelso and I forget his girlfriend, now wife's name. They didn't appear in it, though their son is a main character, so he did appear. So we'll see what happens with that. But that 90s show, part 2 is set to debut June 27th. Part 3 is set to debut October 24th. Paul Walter Hauser, Pamela Anderson, Kevin Durand are joining Liam Neeson in the Naked Gun reboot. Fast and the Furious 11 is set to debut in 2026. We got our first views at the Wolverine video game and the Black Panther video game this week. The Wolverine one looks a lot like Red Dead Redemption, the way the movement is and stuff like that. So we'll see how that works out with that. Mystic Dan won the Kentucky Derby. Next weekend is the Preakness, which is the local one here in Baltimore. Sausage Party 2 is coming, but it will be a TV series. Yippee. Before I do a lost satellite was found after orbiting the Earth, never being known it was there for 25 years. So for 25 years, it's orbited the Earth. No one knew it was there. Then they discovered it recently. So that's kind of weird and scary that happened. Before we do the final story of the week, we might get under an hour here. Gladiator came out 24 years ago this week. And another big death, Bernard Hill. He is a character actor who appeared in Titanic and Lord of the Rings. Let me get the character's names. I can't remember his name. He's the King of Rohan. Okay, there he is. Theoden, King of Rohan and Lord of the Rings trilogy, Captain Edward Smith in Titanic, Prison Warden Luther Plunkett in Clint Eastwood's True Crime. Let's see his rest of his career here. He was a character actor, so he did a lot of stuff. Let's see. He was in Gandhi. He was in Mountains of the Moon, Ghost in the Darkness, Titanic, True Crime, Midsummer's Night Dream, The Scorpion King, was King Theoden in Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, Gothica, Wimbledon, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I'm sorry, League of Gentlemen's Apocalypse. Okay. That was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I was wrong. Valkyrie, he was in that as well. Paranorman, Golden Years. So, interesting like that. Some television. Let's see anything. He was in I, Claudius for 2 episodes. That's interesting. But yeah, he did some TV, but nothing major. So, this was character actor, did a bunch of stuff. Mostly known for it, Theoden and the captain of the Titanic. So that's kind of sad that he passed away this week. I'm going to check one last stretch through here to see if there's anything I'm missing, any news stories that just popped up while we were doing the show. Nothing so far. Yes, it doesn't look like anything is going on here. So yeah, that is it. So that is everything for this week. So anything else that comes out after this will have to be on next week's show. This one last stretch through here. And we are done. All right. Final story of the week. A Yakuza leader was arrested for stealing lots of Pokemon cards. So Pokemon cards are a big deal. But when you have the Japanese mafia, one of their leaders, getting arrested for stealing them, that's kind of crazy, man. That's it. I haven't done an under 1 hour episode of my show for a long time. Again, I think it was due to my being incapacitated for 3 days. But yeah, I'm done just after 12 o'clock. Usually I'm not done till about 1 o'clock here. So I've got some, I might stay up a little bit later than usual or not, don't know. But I am definitely going to finish this up under an hour. So I'm going to say farewell. Next week, go back to work. The Preakness is on Saturday. Other than that, I can't think of really anything else exciting that's going on. Oh, the NFL schedule is due out on Wednesday. So we'll see about that. And other than that, there's really nothing else I can think of that's set to be that exciting. The Planet of the Apes movie that came out this week is set to debut at about $55 million, which is more than The Fall Guy. So it's interesting to see how that'll work out. So we'll see if that ends up being there. So let's say farewell. Thanks for everything. And definitely check out my conversation with myself story about my kidney stones. Have a wonderful Mother's Day. All the mothers out there, it is currently 12:14 a.m., so it is officially Mother's Day right now. So you have a good Mother's Day. We're going to have a good time, I think. And then back to work. Yippee.